Neal, this is quite an interesting model that you've had prepared here, and it sort of covers, I guess, the whole Bricktown area. Kind of delineate, if you will, what the streets are and kind of orient everybody as to where we are.
We'll land it right here, north-south of the Santa Fe tracks. The street on the south here is Reno. Then we have California. Then we have Sheridan and Main Street on the north. The street running through the middle of the project is Oklahoma. On the far side is Walnut. We are in the glass company building right here, right now.
All right. So those buildings there, I guess, are the first that you've done, and the ones we've done when we're in and have just seen the interior of. Tell us, kind of, if you will, what you have for the plan for the building across the street, the one directly across the street north, and the kind of long, narrow building.
That building is one of our most popular buildings. It's 32 feet wide and 140 feet long. The main thing that people have looked in there for is the old New York-style deli and stand-up bar. Of course, we can't have that yet, but hopefully we will in the future. On this side of the glass building, in the little yellow building here next to the parking lot, we are putting a restaurant to be known as Herringbones in there. This larger building here, the Hunziker building, is where the first bed and breakfast inn will be. You'll notice the skylight is there also, and then the glass restaurant on the outside.
All right, tell us kind of what's involved in a bed and breakfast inn. That's a new concept for this part of the country, and it's one that they've done a lot in Europe and other places. It's an exciting concept.
They have them on both coasts, but what you have is a room that is on a theme. The theme of that particular hotel will be Victorian. Each room will be decorated in different types of Victorian antiques. And in the morning, they bring you your breakfast in bed.
Oh, I see. And it's, other than that, though, it's just a regular hotel that you would, make reservations for and have a chance to stay in this Bricktown area.
Correct. Well, eventually we'll have three. The old Kingman building, which most people know as the Fox Fleet, and the Rock Island Plow building, which was built in 1910.
I see. And each of those then would be a bed and breakfast type inn.
Right.
And so that would, with the Bricktown trolley traveling back and forth, people could stay there who were coming to the conventions at the Myriad and using other downtown facilities.
Correct.
Good. Now you have a large structure here that's, I guess, would be on Oklahoma and Reno streets.
That's correct.
Tell us about that, please.
That's the Bricktown parking garage, ingress and egress off of Reno. It's an 800-car garage with 30,000 square feet of retail on the first floor. Also, in the 800 cars, 400 are for in and out for the retail shopper, the restaurant user, and there's no charge for that 2 hours.
Oh, I see. Good. So you will actually have free parking down here, free covered parking down here for people who want to come for a lunch or for a meal of some kind, as well as perhaps the shopping and that sort of thing.
Correct. Correct.
What is next here to the
these two buildings are scheduled now for the first floor to be retail and the top floors to be offices. The far building right here, which is the old John Deere implement building, will be a department store type concept with boutiques in it.
I noticed you put up a lot of trees here on the on your model. Are you planning to put trees throughout the area?
The landscaping, we think, is probably the most important amenity that we can come up with. If you'll go to Faneuil Hall in Boston or any of the San Francisco, Los Angeles old towns, you'll notice they've used a lot of flowers, shrubs, trees, etc. We'll do the same here. In fact, we have a Victorian-style greenhouse coming in. It goes on the other side of the John Deere building and will be both wholesale and retail.
I see. Is there, I guess, good access really on the streets? You can come in down Broadway and then turn in under the tracks to get in and out here. And you have, I think, 2 or 3 streets that go through at this point.
Actually, we are 3.5 minutes from the state capitol when they come down Lincoln, and about 3 minutes from the Health Science Center. And the Bricktown trolley will be going up there to pick people up to bring them down for lunch. We're also just about a minute away from Shields Boulevard down here, which gives us quick access to the south.
And of course, if we are able to, as we've been working on, to bring the Amtrak people back through town so that we have passenger rail traffic, why, that'd be very handy too. If people have stopovers on the way or that sort of thing, why, this facility would be close by and one they could use. And the old Santa Fe Railroad Station, which I assume would become operable again probably, is right here.
It's right here on California.
On California, yes, right there.
In fact, if we're able to, we'll go through the concrete wall and have an exit into Bricktown from the Amtrak station.
All right, that's the most interesting concept. What are you really talking about in terms of time? When do you think that this, I know a lot of this is there in place, some of it's still to come. When do you think we'll be able to have some some assurances that it will be built or that it's going to be come together?
I think you'll see the whole thing come together within 2.5 years. If you'll come back in about 90 days, you'll see a marked change in 3 of the buildings that are not developed at this time. By that time, we'll also have the first parking lot finished, which joins us right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's 28,000 brick pavers and 41 river oaks.
Okay, yes, they're working on it right now, as a matter of fact. I saw it out there. Now, along behind the building we're in, and one of the last things I want to talk about on the model, it shows the looks like a pedestrian mall there that is now an alley. Is that going to be sort of your main thoroughfare as far as people are concerned?
Eventually, when both sides of the alley are developed, the backs of the buildings actually are more important than the fronts on Sheridan and the fronts on California. By using the backs of the buildings, you double the capacity of the retail shops inside and also the restaurants. And we take the old railroad tracks out. We put the trees in. We put the colorful banners in that you see right here. And it does become more of a pedestrian mall.
Well, that's most interesting. And before we go, I'd like to go back into that alley and have a look at the backs of these buildings to kind of get the feeling of what that mall will be like.
Good. You'll see what ours looks like and then what it's going to look like in about 60 days.
Good. Thank you very much. Let's go out there and have a look. Well, with this, we're outside again. This is sort of our last stop here in Bricktown. We wanted you to see the sort of the before and after, and also to see what the back of the building looks like, because as Neal told us, the alley that we're now in is going to be a sort of a pedestrian mall, and the back of the building is about as important as the front. So, Neal, what was it you had to do back here?
We had to dig out the light well that you see over here, and then we take the old loading docks and turn them into entrances. And then by putting the balconies, the canopies, and the French doors in, it creates a very delightful atmosphere where the buildings do become more important in the alleyway and in the front.
Well, it really is handsome, and I gather that there will be trees planted farther on down here as you go.
Yes, the river oaks go from Oklahoma all the way to Walnut, and it'll probably be kind of a forest through here in 5 or 6 years.
Well, that's exactly what is needed down here, and it's really a wonderful thing. Neal, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us and to let us see Bricktown. It's an exciting time, and we certainly wish you the best of luck.
I'll come back when you can stay longer.
I will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That will be our tour of Bricktown. It's an exciting place. It's one that I hope you'll come by and look at, and in the months ahead, I hope you'll come by and sample the food and explore the stores that will be here.